to get loose and have some fun with the champion who's number one. Take it to the hoop with style and grace and let her hit it and smile. Cover your face, you got finesse and you can rock the best from east to west, cause you can't be less. Yes, yes, all play the beat fall. Take your best shot and let it fall. Get it together, play your part. A thrilling game is about to start. Make your selection, log it in. Let it begin and play to win. Take control with your mind and soul. Your destiny is to reach your goal. Enjoy yourself and have no doubt, cause that's what winning is all about. Come on. Yes, yes, all play the beat ball. Take your best shot and let it fall. It's a hip, hip, hop, you don't stop. Come on everybody, let's make that shot. Yeah, like that.
Grab that, lower. Ah, there it is. All right, what's up, everybody? This is Francisco here for Sports Goose number 145, and yeah, let's do this. I'm here. What's up, everybody? Joining me is my good buddy Charles. Charles, how's it going, my dude?
It is good. My neck is aggravated. I don't know why. I'll figure out why eventually. I think sometimes I will have my laptop positioned elsewhere, and then if I have to crane to the right, to the left, I suffer a little bit into it. But everything else is fine. I have a very hard dilemma that I'm trying to figure out, and since Andrew's not here, we can take a start off into craziness.
Sure. All right, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which platform I want to buy Shredder's Revenge on. Because I can get on the PS5. They didn't make it for the PS5 per se. It's for the PS4 to get the backwards compatibility, and I can get that high def rendering. But it's a 16-bit game, so 2D beat 'em up brawler.
Yeah.
And originally I was going to pay full price, and I was like, I'll wait till it goes on sale, and then I'll just use points. But I don't really want to use points on that. Splatoon 3 is coming out. I literally will, I guess I'll say on the show, I will literally climax on the idea that I can get Splatoon 3 for like $5. You know me. You know how I am.
Yeah.
Saving 60 means so much more than saving 20 when I waste my money doing other things. And I waste, like, I'll buy chocolate, that's $13, but it's worth it. And what I have to give for that. But it depends. And then for the Switch, it's full. So tech time, your PS5 upscales to HDR 2160, so that's your 4K stuff at high processing speed, and I have Ramona. Your Switch highest processing can be 1080p, but if you have an OLED Switch, you can get the screen resolution to be a little bit higher from viewing it, but I also have Ramona. So I've been kind of investigating a little bit, because some things matter also a little bit more besides graphics, frame rate, and the Switch's frame rate is debatable. If it's not really Nintendo made, Nintendo structured, sometimes the frame rate dips. However, 2D action brawler. What I looked into, and this is what I was literally investigating before, like, there's a reason why I'm an attorney. I am investigating before we start the show, gameplay comparisons on graphics, if I notice any stutter slow up rates. From what I noticed with the Switch is that it slows up a little bit with 6 people playing, because you can play a maximum of 6 people. But the PlayStation's only stuck locally to being 4 people, and you don't even get to the 6. You can get to the 6 online. And I doubt I'll have 6 people playing my Switch unless we go out to travel. Because if I buy that game on the Switch or the PlayStation, it's never getting deleted. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah. It's never getting deleted. It's like a gig of memory space.
Right.
So I'm doing the pros and cons, and part of the acceleration of the decision making is that $22.49 10% deal is only good for tomorrow for the Switch, but it's good until 30th on the PS5. And I kind of like all my 2D games to be on my Switch as well. It is an easier preference for whatever reason, because it's easier to play when you're outside, if you're going places, if you're seeing family, if you're stuck to child birthday parties, child graduations, baptism. My niece's christening, God forbid when that happens, I will literally be there playing as Raphael, messing up Shredder. But I'm trying to figure out, and I think part of it is conducive if you're going to get it, because there is crossplay, but only for Xbox and PC. I'm sure they will establish crossplay elsewhere. And, I don't know if a lot of my friends who like it, but if you get it, you're the person on the Switch. Okay, we've gamed somewhat. It's not as much as it was last year because life, in that sense, but I at least have played games with you. And I'm not going to lie, it's not out of the question for me to get it on both consoles. if if one or the other goes cheap, but more than likely the PlayStation 5 will go cheaper before the Switch does.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my dilemma. I will hear your input on it of what you have to offer. I think the Pro Controller would be perfect for the game, though. To be honest with you, for the Switch.
Yeah, I've the podcast that I listened to, Complete Unnecessary Podcast. They had a review of the game. Sounds like it's good. Sounds like it's at the very least an 8 out of 10, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, nothing's perfect, but if you like beat 'em ups, especially the 16-bit era arcade 90s beat 'em ups, then this is exactly what it is for you. And yeah, game length and stuff like that. And look, it's Aiken of the era, so you're just gonna have to deal with a game that's gonna be a little shorter, things like that. I mean, as far as the system is concerned, I'm not sure. Hey, Augur5RGA, we got a new follower here. So there it is. All right, we're here. This is a sports show, everybody, but but yeah, we're over here talking about I think a new Twitch follower. So thank you. We're just talking about turtles and I was gonna say turtles in time. Man,
well, Cowabunga collection is coming as well.
Yeah, so if everybody's gonna get their fix of Ninja Turtles at this point. But I mean, portability factor. Look, I only have the two, right? The PC and the Switch, and a game like that, I most likely default to the Switch. That's how I see it. It's a 2D game. It's pick up and play, and it's like, oh, if you want to just like do a little bit of something and just get out of it, sure. I mean, I recently just did a review of Hotline Miami for my really random podcast that I do on the side. And I just wanted to do a review for the game, and it's like, okay, all right, that's how I wanted to experience. I'm glad Hotline Miami's on my Switch, because anytime I just feel like going into that, I can. It's quick. It's pick up and play. It's right there. I don't have to set it up and turn it on and then do all the things and I get it. The PS5 is a little more streamlined than the PC. Gaming PC is a little more cumbersome. But the Switch is just easier. It pops on real quick, and then you're right there. So that's how I feel for like what system you should get it on. And once again, pixelated 16-bit beat 'em up, not exactly the showcase for.
It's not
graphics
Death
and
Stranding.
stuff like that, exactly. And the Switch should handle it easier. I don't think you're gonna get like a Digital Foundry video of then comparing the frame rates of each of the games. You know what I mean? You're probably going to get consistency across the board
I felt like the Switch was always going to kind of be the end all be all for it. And when I tell you, man, I will probably do one playthrough as every character. I'm not kidding. Like, because it's only 2.5 hours, but I I think that's how.
There's a few difficulty levels too, so you can.
I'm just going straight to gnarly.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I know punk because.
I heard the easiest level it's not even they're just it's way too easy. The easy level is way too easy.
Yeah, so. Well, the thing is, if gnarly gives you more enemies on the screen if you're playing solo, I'm all about that. But I literally had spent time as a kid just replaying. That's why I hate the fact that Cowabunga Collection's coming out, because I know me. I'm like, oh, there's ones I never played.
Hey, Andrew's popped on here on the chat there, so he's there for now while he's tending to whatever he has to tend to. And speaking of tending, Shesterkin for the New York Rangers won the Vezina Trophy, so there you go.
There you go.
All right.
So I think the conclusion is this: we're probably going to go with the Switch, because the biggest takeaway was portability, and I'm used to playing my 2D games on my Switch. I think only one exception was done to the PS4, PS5, and I also have Hollow Knight, which one day I'll get into because I got that for free. But yeah, I think we'll go for it. It's just I had to strike it today. I'm playing Zelda right now, but I'm afraid if I try to buy it and download it, you just won't hear me, and you're just going to hear live stream reactions. And I have been waiting for Shredder's Revenge for 9 months since they announced it, so I at least want to hear the music and everything.
Yeah.
If I did a replay on the other Turtles, and that's the thing too, it's an easy show game. Ridiculous, but such an easy show game. We definitely do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting on physical copy. That's if I go for it, that's what I'll do.
See, and I get it, but the fact that I'm paying $35 $10 more because of the fact that it's with the pizza from Pizza Hut. I'm gonna hate my life.
I mean,
It's
not so much that I just want a physical copy of the game so I can just have it, and never know what could happen. And at this point, just certain games, especially if they're like for the most part single player experiences, like if I play Ninja Turtles, it'll only just be maybe a few run throughs, and that would be it. And then I'm done. And then I'm done with it. And then I'll just have it there in case whatever. And then I'd rather have a physical copy of that. That's why I no longer get like Pokemon or anything like that. I'd rather have.
Can we talk about how those are dropping in price real quick? They got Diamond and Pearl for $30, and I'm just staring at it like, hold on here.
Well, it's summer game sales right now. That's kind of the theme so far. If you look on pretty much anything at this point, Xbox, PlayStation, even the Switch, there's a bunch of summer game sales. It's kind of like a bit of a drought period right now before we head up into like fall and stuff like that. I mean, Splatoon's just gonna usher in the final portion of the year for me. As far as gaming is concerned.
It's just not fair for either of us, because if there's a story, I'll try to play it, as long as they don't make it just the typical. Like, I didn't play 2 stories.
Yeah, just do the missions and that's it. And there's a loose storyline.
Yeah, I knew what it was about. Straight up, I was like, okay, Callie Marie.
2 wasn't bad, and then I downloaded DLC, which they're interesting challenges, but they're more like obstacle courses than anything else. It's not really like I don't know, like a Call of Duty campaign, you know what I mean? Where it's there, and at least they tried, right? So that's how it is. But yeah, that's how I'm seeing the gaming stuff with getting the free stuff and everything the last month or so. So, all right, so I guess we should talk about sports, right? I guess
we gave it some time for Andrew. We know he's here via chat, but I think, look, the game just came out last week. I felt people need to know, because if you buy it, we'll get another one. That's all I'm caring about.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Well, basketball. Let's talk about basketball, because Andrew's not here, and he's not really the NBA aficionado. I'm sure he would have had something to say about the Warriors and winning and stuff like that, because that's kind of like a mainstream thing that people do know about. But all right, let's lean into this. I titled this episode Kobe's Curse.
I think it's also relatable to what we said last week, because I got annoyed. I got super annoyed with every young upstart saying that Kobe's their hero. And I get it. You're allowed to support who you are, but you only, to recap very shortly, you only get that window for another year. When it comes to the 2023 players, or 2024 start of the season, 23-24.
Yeah.
No more of Kobe. It's got to be LeBron by pure logistics.
I just love the memes, and we're gonna go through them a little bit right here.
Internet is savage, man.
Oh, they are entirely savage. Both.
And what kills me is the fact that I'm gonna say it right now. I can understand not liking Devin Booker to a degree, especially how high-end gamer dating Kardashian. Jason Tatum's generally a good dude, and people were slinging that muck.
Yeah.
And look, he's been ass in the playoffs, but that's what happened. It's a long season, and there's also sometimes that drop-off of quality, because you got to think. And here's an honest truth: I'm getting logistics. I'm becoming analytical. Be proud of me, everybody. This is his first season deep into the postseason, if I'm not mistaken. This far out. So henceforth,
time finally.
Yeah, so henceforth, your body, your focus, your preparation, your body gives out when you're this far in, because now you're hitting 100-game seasons. And I don't think they went as far as, because you got to remember, their Eastern Conference Final from 2 years ago was a bubble season, so there was a delay. And his quality of play was actually much higher, aside from that fabulous block from Bam Adebayo, who probably isn't going to be on our team next year. Making a prediction on that. It hurts, but what do you want to be? Let's segue to that after. I might as well comment on it, because the thing about free agency, stuff like that, all these statements become very moot once we hit into like 2 months into the season, or like a month into the summer fully. So I want to comment on that. But Jaylen Brown was good. He seemed. What is up with Al Horford just becoming the fountain of youth and high quality in the corner?
I don't know.
I can't understand
he's found his niche there. That's for sure. He actually was very serviceable. throughout the postseason for the Celtics.
Well, I don't know. Don't we know it? But it was kind of crazy. But I did watch the last game, which was shockingly the only game I watched fully because I just wasn't into it. We talked, and I feel validated on my Nets prediction, or calling them the Nets from 2003. It just it wasn't that thing, and I love watching the Warriors play because there's a narrative to it and everything else. But damn, like there was a little bit of a comeback, but did they realize that was an elimination game? Did Ime Udoka do anything to kind of say, all right, let's simplify this, let's make it easy? Because I don't know how you can work with turning the ball over so many times like they did. I understand a lot of it was Tatum, but guys not doing anything. Marcus Smart was trying to do his best Kobe tricks. And then there's Steph Curry. And the memes, man, between Tatum and then also the memes of Curry getting back at all the ESPN guys are saying, he's not going to win any more without Kevin Durant, all this other stuff. I'm like, shut up.
I love this. I loved all of it. I just have here the series overview for the 6 games. And yeah, the Warriors, they lost game 1, right? Okay. And then they came back, stomped them in game 2. Then lost game 3 in Boston.
They got lazy.
Yeah. And then they turned it on after that. They stomped them in for the most part, they just controlled the game. In game 4 and then game 5 and then game 6 they just outright just did it. They didn't wait any longer. They were just like, oh, let's just do this, let's go.
Getting eliminated at your own home, is there anything more hurtful than that?
Well, that's kind of part of the feelings with the Heat when I told you how the way we lost to Boston, it just hurt a lot more.
They were just the better team.
Yeah. So but
because Kyle Lowry and his fucking Sour Patch loving ass. I'm not gonna let that go.
No. And you're not alone after this in the offseason right now. Heat Twitter has
the hater train is everywhere.
Yeah, no, Heat Twitter is wholeheartedly agreeing with you now.
Finally, I mean, what I was talking that trash when we traded for him.
Yeah,
last
signed
year.
him.
It was a sign-in trade.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't
this hating of Kyle Lowry is presented by Lenovo and Intel.
Yeah, Lenovo, where you actually get quality at a good price no matter the age.
Intel inside, you know what I mean? That's what Kyle Lowry should have had. That's for sure.
You're running on a fucking e-machine.
But I do want to go to the memes here. Whatever. The NBA Finals happened. Blah blah blah. You can go to ESPN and Stephen A. Smith, and he has a thing with Skip Bayless right now, which is funny. That was funny.
Can we talk about how butthurt all the analysts are because they all were licking Boston's taint?
Oh, of course. That's what they wanted. That's what ESPN wanted more than anything. It's what ESPN wanted more than anything. They didn't want to see the Warriors win again. They wanted another Boston team so they could harp up about Boston and stuff like that. That's what they wanted. Because ESPN, as much as people try and connect ESPN to New York, they're in Connecticut, so they're just as connected to Boston. So there is a bias there, and you can't deny it. All right, you cannot deny that there's a bias. That's why guys like Dan Le Batard left. Right, they just couldn't deal with anything outside of that realm of the New York, North Atlantic
boys too, because they don't like that Latin flavor.
Exactly.
They thought mayo was too spicy over in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how I felt with regards to ESPN, and we love hating ESPN on this show. That's the reason the show exists. This show exists because ESPN was doing something that was not catering to me, and I just got sick of it. I'm just like, I'm gonna do my own damn show. I don't care if 10 people only watch it. That's it. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, going on Twitter right now. Memes. We're gonna look up some memes here, which were great, and I just focused specifically on Jason Tatum and Kobe memes because ESPN is at fault for this too, as much as. Right, I get it, right? Jason Tatum, guys like that, they grew up watching Kobe, and some guys were... Remember, there was a faction that was like Kobe versus LeBron, and of course that never happened because the LeBron and the Cavs choked away their opportunities to make that happen 2 seasons in a row. But it was the narrative that Nike was trying to push back in the late 2010s, the late 2000s, which 2009, 2010. So
It was kind of like the transition of Kobe and Michael, but I don't think Kobe ever outright said that Michael was his idol.
no, and it's
Kobe was like, "I'll get to Michael."
Yeah, that's true. I don't. Well, we can't really ask him now, right? But of course, Jason Tatum texted Kobe. He texted a dead man.
Okay, so here's the thing. I thought that was a joke. I thought that was like Twitter was doing some stuff until you told me it was actually.
Oh no, that was real. That was real.
That scares me. Because here we are. Here's the thing. Here we are shitting on Kyrie Irving for being a flat earther, but we have a grown ass man with a child be like, "I texted a dead guy. Let him know how proud I am." I'm like, what?
Why would you? My issue is with these young guys trying to evoke the spirit of Kobe Bryant, and it's not working. It's a curse. It is a curse at this point. They're not evoking nothing. Why would you put that on yourself? You made it, like, after all these years, the Celtics, this core of guys that they've got, which they tried to label a big three. ESPN tried that. They tried to push that the Celtics have a big three, right? They have a mid three. That's what they have right now.
Who's the third? Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown combined is your number two.
Well, no, that's what they think is the three: Brown, Smart, and Tatum.
And I like Marcus Smart. We talked about it on the last show. I liked watching him in Oklahoma and everything like that.
They're not bad guys. They're all like those other two guys are solid players, but they're not like big three. That's not what. That's not what
big three is if you were on your own.
They have a big one. That's Tatum. They got a superstar. That's good.
Well, Brown maybe can get there now. But the idea of a big three is that if you were on your own team with no other talent, you can lead them deep into the playoffs. That's a big three concept. It's what Chris Bosh... We talk about Wade and we talk about LeBron, but Chris Bosh had nothing when his time in Toronto, and he kept them afloat. We love Chris Bosh.
Yeah. All right, so here's the first one. It's the image of this. Is that a kid? This kid, whatever, this British kid, or whatever that.
No, it's a meme of like the little white kid staring down.
Yeah, staring down from the window.
Disapprovingly.
Kobe Bryant looking at Jason Tatum and the Celtics right now. There's one. Then another one from Lake Show Yo. They said Tatum loved Kobe so much he couldn't let the Celtics pass the Lakers in titles. That's a good one. And that's another thing, right? I get that a lot of players nowadays are not as
understanding of the rivalry. Yeah,
or hateful as players were back in the day. I understand that, but you play for the Boston Celtics, huh?
I thought you were hating the camaraderie. Everybody wants to sign something.
I don't mind the camaraderie and stuff like that sometimes, but there is room. I feel like there is a lack of hatred in professional sports right now. That aside from hockey, I think hockey still has that era of guys will hate each other. But we need more of that in the other pro sports for the most part.
See, I don't think you need it for basketball for a very valid reason, is the fact that when you compare Tatum, they're still kind of young in the league. Mm-hmm. Once you get to Draymond status of, all y'all suck, because what happens is when you're on Draymond level, you hate their GM, you hate their owner, you hate their fan base, and you hate the people that support the racist-ass fan base.
Yeah, there we go. Another one was, of course, the text that Tatum sent to Kobe Bryant, where he said, "I got you today," and okay, I can't say that. I can't say that. Another one is basically just says "you suck," so that's another one. Of course, they have the meme where Kobe Bryant's like sitting in heaven with his like hands kind of together, just staring down, but not in like smiling or frowning, and just kind of like
judging seriously.
Yeah, in a judging sense. Kobe Bryant watching Tatum get his ass cooked after sending him a text message. That's a great one. Gosh, man, there are a few other ones I'm trying to find.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't even think they were the best memes of the finals. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The Jordan Poole Malika Andrew memes are hysterical to me. About how he becomes like superpowered every time he sees her on the courtyard.
That's true.
I'm like, as first off, I don't want to be that creepy guy, but I can get the jokes. But then I realized Jordan Poole's only like 24, 23. Yeah. So you're like, oh, what? So the way people were going in on it, I was cracking hell up.
I love this one. Yeah, Jordan Poole, when there's an opportunity for a post-game interview with Malika Andrews, and you just see Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Because why not, right? Why
Yeah.
not? You're young. You're doing it for the fan base. Malik Andrews is good looking. I'll be respectful, I guess.
I think
Unlike
she's
other
married
men.
though, so that's the thing.
I'm sorry, but where we're at
She's like married to like a nerdy white guy. So.
But where we're at 2022, it's all fair game at this point. For
Oh
some
boy.
men.
Yeah. Well.
You know.
Yeah. No.
Kobe
but-
was married. Ooh.
Oh.
All right.
Woo.
I'll take that happily as my best inside joke of the day.
All right.
Poor Andrew.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there, was like, you guys are insulting a dead man. I'm insulting a cheater. Yeah.
Well, I'm not. I'm just sick of the Kobe stuff right now. I just am. I think it's disingenuous. I think they're very much. It's
So,
not. They're trying way too hard with it.
Can I tell you why I think Tatum went as far and publicized and everything? I think it was publicist. I think it's his agent. Because part of the thing is you think about the interviews, you think about
I
stuff
just
that gets set
don't
up.
understand why you would put that pressure on yourself. That's
It's
the
not-
thing.
It's because I don't want to be that guy, but he's young and he's getting influenced by other people. Because is Jason Tatum a baller or is Jason Tatum a brand man?
I don't think they're guys trying to make him a brand guy. But I mean, you see him with like his kid and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and things like that. They're creating like this wholesome thing around him, which is good. I like that. I mean, there's very few
Karl
players that
Malone's
like
not a
that,
family man, but he was a brand man. He had a
Oh,
nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? He's a rapist too. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. No.
We don't defend Karl
I'm not
Malone.
I'm not disagreeing there.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying.
I'll say it right now. We don't defend Karl Malone.
Yeah.
We acknowledge Karl Malone was
The
a
player,
baller, but
the
Karl
player.
Malone
Yeah.
had sex with a 16-year-old, got her pregnant, petitioned for like paternity. So that's statutory rape.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz fans don't even like him like that. So there's a reason why he was in Space Jam, kids. But Tatum, is he a brand guy? So how do you make a guy who's not a brand? Because Jason Tatum wasn't even the sexy Celtics pick, right? For a while for people. So you have to do the build up.
Yeah, but I think he's just he's a guy that's humble. He's being thrust into this, and I can kind of get your theory as to it may have been just like the brand people trying to evoke.
He's 24.
Like that,
he's not even 25. That is young and influential.
But I mean, I don't know if the NBA would ever expand to like St. Louis or something like that. But he'd probably be the first one out if they had a St. Louis team because he loves St. I mean, he's from there. He's a huge Cardinals and even St. Louis Blues fan. So, anyways, that's an aside. And like I said, we don't hate Tatum. He's one of the good ones, but I don't know. It just brought that upon himself. You know what I mean?
Out of all the series,
he laid it up there.
Yeah, but out of all the series to shut down in, this was not the series.
Well,
it would have been
it's
easier to
unfortunate.
go the Jaylen Brown route and then still lose, as opposed to just all this and now you're just made fun of, because that's gonna. NBA fans, NBA Twitter, they do not have short-term memory.
No.
I'll see dudes bring up stuff. I was like, oh, remember this guy who got like messed up by Andrei Kirilenko? And there I am on Wikipedia. I'm like, holy shit, god damn, holy smack! Like they have the best memory. He was cooked by this guy. You're like, you're gonna remember it.
Yeah.
Dudes still bring up Matthew Dellavedova winning a title. I think he's over in like
true.
Australia now. And they talk about Steph's legacy. Where there's like, oh yeah, when it was just LeBron James and Matthew Dellavedova. That's 8 years ago, and the fan base still hated it. So good luck, Jason.
So hold on. Let's. Where do we go from here? We're half an hour in, or just about.
I'll give the Bam Adebayo 5-minute spiel if you want.
Sure, let's do it. Because then after this, we have to do the handsomest Eastern Conference NBA head coaches, and you gotta crown the handsomest NBA head coach now that the season's over. And you know what's weird? Man, we don't even have any downtime after this because we're jumping straight into the draft and then the free agency period. Like, there's no downtime, which I kind of don't like. I kind of like a month or so before we go into it, and maybe just this off season, because this is kind of like the first one where they're trying to still squeeze everything in after the COVID stuff. But even the NHL is doing it, because after the Stanley Cup Finals, July 7th is like the draft for the NHL. So
yep, it's all,
and
there's no room.
The NBA draft is this Thursday, and I've got my stupid self penned up for a torture stream.
Yeah, And the thing is, I only know like the first 5 picks, man. And then
So I'm gonna
Washington.
I'm gonna sit down and struggle there. Well, that'll be fun for me. But well, whatever. I'll order in some food, try and get some stuff going. I don't know, and I'll see if I lose my mind by the end of it, which I probably will. So
If I'm on, I'll probably live stream a game or something with you.
Yeah, sure. Why not? There's not going to be anything. I mean, the only thing that kept me going for the NFL one was
No, that was actual analytics, though.
Well, it was analytics, but it was that trade. Your reaction for the trade.
Yeah, that was worst night of my life. Worst night of my life so far.
On the show, at the very least. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring in some humor for it, but I think my dog dying stung less than AJ Brown.
Oh,
just randomly taken. I was like, damn. And now I can never watch an Eagles game. I am that hurt. I can't watch an Eagles game for a year.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel right. And then Traylon Burks has asthma. I'm like, God fucking damn it. That's literally my reaction. I'm like, because I watched him play a little bit when Arkansas was playing last year.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't hate it. That's why I was like, oh man, I'm kind of okay with it, right? But then I'm like, oh, he's got asthma. He's gonna be screwed every time we play Denver.
All right, so what about our boy Bam? What about our boy Bam?
Here's the thing. We have to tell you something.
He's only 24 years old too. That's the other thing. Remember that.
So you have to look at Bam, and he plays that hybrid power forward center position. He's really more, unless we get a center and we just make him convert into like the Giannis mindset. The question you have to ask yourself, he's max contracted for the moment.
Yep.
We have to decide if we want to pay Tyler Hero, even though he's a 6th man. I would venture, if I'm Mickey Aarons, goes as this, or Arison. Yes, you pay Tyler, because he's a 6th man who might become a starter one day. You got to find something to do with Duncan Robinson's contract, right? It's just an impossibility.
Yeah, you're not playing him, so yeah.
And he didn't do anything wrong. It's just he wasn't the best man to win.
Yeah,
that's what it came down to. We're stuck with Lowry's contract, and we're stuck with Jimmy's contract. And the problem is that this is not Bam's team. This is Jimmy's team. And who's the window that you want to keep open for? Jimmy. And that means you have to bring in the best players to help Jimmy win.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say some things that are sacrilegious. And if our good friend Jeremy Taché, who works for Valley Sports, follow him on the Twitter, was here, he would probably feel sad. But when you look at who our backups were to kind of follow through for Bam with Markieff Morris and Dwayne Dedman, is there any evolution that we're going to get from Bam Adebayo if we stuck for the next 3 years to have him complete that contract? Is he going to be able to shape his game to be able to fast break?
I've got his entire career here. He started back in 2017-18 season.
And remember who he was behind.
5 seasons completed so far.
Well, not Udonis. Hassan.
Yes. So let's see. He has, for the most part, he's averaged about, let's say around 65, 70, 75 games. Like he's been relatively healthy for the most part this past season. He only played 56 games. That's probably, he's been more injured than before. His average minutes have gone higher. He's averaging around 33 at this point, or 28.2 in total, but more like in the 30 range now as far as minutes played. He is averaging, for his career, 13.5 points.
Yeah, which is fine.
And this past season was his best one. In those 56 games, although limited, 56 games, 19.1 points per game. That's what he's scoring right now.
But he didn't play when it mattered most that's in the postseason.
Yeah.
And my thought conclusion is
his playoff, this past postseason, he was averaging 14.8 points per game. Which, if he's your quote-unquote number 2 guy, it's not really cutting it at this point. Especially in this day's NBA. That worked back in, let's say, the 2000s. That could have worked in the 2000s. But a number 2 guy behind Jimmy, he's got to score more on average. He had flashes of that. We saw flashes of it, but it just never really came out where he could take over a game.
And this is the mindset I would bring to you, Francisco. Do you see him evolving the other way that 2 top superstars at their position evolved, of Giannis and Embiid, where they became the facilitators, they could run the point, They can rebound. I don't need him to shoot the three, but it does add some diversity to shoot the three. And I think if the answer is clear cut no, you have to think of what is the best interest of the team for Jimmy's window. Yeah. Obviously, Kyle is not.
He didn't make a single 3-pointer in his career so far, I think.
Yeah. So that's the hard part, because I think you can get some. And here's the other question I would ask you: what's the difference between Miles Turner and Bam Adebayo right now, aside from injuries?
Ooh,
I think the contracts, are flighted. Yeah, so if I can get it on a cheaper end, like I'm gonna check out Miles Turner's contract right now, because I think he's at the max, but a different at max or bird rights. And he's 26, so you're talking about a 2-year franchise. And I like Miles Turner. I know the Pacers always trying to trade him, but the Pacers also stupid, so I ease up on that.
And look, Pat's never been. Pat Riley's never had the, I guess, isn't afraid to deal a guy like this.
But Miles Turner is only one season left of like 18 million or 19 million. Bam is stuck on, I think, another 3. Let me get it exactly, because I'm going to throw propositions out here. Bam is signed a 5-year, $163 million contract. And that was, come on, where was the website I was on? Because this was like the stuff that gets the brains going. So his salary is good up until 25, 26, and he's going to go from 28, 30, 32, 34, 37 million. That's throughout the projected years. Whereas I rather just put Miles Turner on a prove-it contract. I'd rather trade him and Duncan Robinson for Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner, and I'm getting same quality players. I'm getting Malcolm Brogdon just to be kind of like the possible replacement to Kyle and to Tyler. That's just an example. And here's the thing. Bam Adebayo is a clear-cut Rick Carlisle guy. Hands down. Rick Carlisle is over there coaching in Indianapolis now. Big position center who just moves around a bit. There you go. Because I don't see it improving if you really want to maximize the one window.
Yeah.
For Jimmy. Because this is all Jimmy's team. And we're not going to have Jimmy for long. And unfortunately, we're going to have to either suck ass and be lucky in the draft pool, or we're going to have to just find another big free agent to make him our team.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
But that's just my suspicion. Trade him now with Aaron top. Give him to Indy. Why not? Because the thing is, there's no other big man. And mind you, if there's nobody who's going to take Bam for that contract and everything, then fine, we will keep Bam, because that's he's like a number 5 or 6 of his position. I mean, I think you can make the argument that Porzingis is better at his position, even though he's injured all the time, just because of the versatility in his play.
Yeah.
But he does get to the foul line often as well.
He's got more range. He's got a more of an offensive game for the most part.
Yeah. So, but if there's no one who wants to
plays it very safe,
and that's the problem. I want you to be safe, to not get injured. And that's it. Everything else, I want you to be a dog, man. And so that's my Bam thing. Because you know what's going to happen? All this thing that we're talking about is moot, but we're just padding some stats here. In regards to the conversation for the show. But yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's enough analytical talk, right? All right, so Saints Row, that's coming out. You can get the boss creation thing right now if you want to. So if anybody wants out there, they're sponsoring us tonight. And they're also sponsoring this segue into the handsomest Eastern Conference NBA head coaches right now.
So would you crack up if I told you I would have a theme song for this if you could play on the intro?
You want me to play one?
Sure.
You want to find something? Okay, hold on.
Yeah. I mean, I already have the song. We're going to get copyright strict if I don't care.
Oh, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. So let me go on YouTube. That's probably the easiest place I can find it. And let me see. All right, what do we got?
All right, so put in Shawn Michaels' theme song.
Shawn Michaels' theme song. There we go. 93 to 2014 version?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alrighty.
Get a little wrestling in my handsomeness, man.
Oh, sexy boy.
Yep.
Hold on. I'm waiting for these ads to go through before I actually play it. Alright, so skip that. Okay. Alrighty, so let me turn up the mic on that. It's gonna come in real loud, but I don't care. Here we go.
So now you can segue to the proper introductions of the most handsome NBA coach.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, just trying to get it going real quick. There's the mic. Okay, here we go. All right, that's super loud now. So let me lower that so it kind of plays in the background. Now. Maybe there's an extended version of it. Fine, but hold on. Let me lower that just a bit more. There we go. All right, I just want to be able to so that we could hear ourselves while it's going on in the background. But sure, Charles. That.
Well, you can pause it after you segue the intro, right? Because now we're playing for keeps here.
Well,
so we just want to.
Yeah, it's in. There it is. It's going. And now, okay, it's intro. Right, whatever. I did this wrong, but whatever. That's fine. We can do it for an outro. I have no idea. Well, it's in. So we're gonna cover our stuff. WWE's gonna come after us like they always do. We'll come after them later on in the show because there's some interesting things happening there.
I mean, this is my only time I could joke about wrestling appears, right? Versus everything else.
Okay. Let me go down the list of NBA head coaches again. Let me bring that up.
Who is a true sexy boy?
Yeah.
Francisco.
Huh?
Who's a true sexy boy in the NBA?
Well, I mean, we're about to go. We're about to go. So, let's see. Got the list here. I think pretty much everybody used to conferences has a job. So, first one, Atlanta Hawks, Nate McMillan.
I feel like I'm being generous.
All right. Do you like Carl Winslow from Family Matters? That's who he reminds me of.
No, I can't do it.
Nah. All right.
I think it's like the facial hair. It doesn't help him at all.
He should grow a beard and see how that works.
I think a beard would help him.
Yeah. He's done the goatee before, but maybe he can do the full thing. All right. So there's Nate McMillan. That's a no. Next is Boston Celtics. All right.
Ime Udoka?
Udoka. Let's go.
I think because now I've seen him kind of. He's a put up, shut up kind of guy.
We've seen him a few times. All right, there he is.
Yeah, he's got an intensity to him.
Yeah, there you go.
Looks good in a suit. He's married to Nia Long, I think, so that's a win.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, they're with the family. All right.
Yeah, Nia Long is beautiful, so he gets a thumbs up on that one.
Okay. All right. There he is in the suit. So, he's not too shabby. Cleans up pretty nicely. Has a pretty nice beard. Right? He's how old is this man?
44.
He is 44. All right. Next, Steve Nash.
Battle of coke eyes between him and Quinn Snyder, I tell you. So Steve Nash is kind of handsome, but is it because of the hair? And understand this, with the NBA, a lot of guys are bald or shaved head.
I mean, he's in shape. He's in cardio shape for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. And his hair kind of fixes it out a little bit.
Plays hockey, plays some soccer, some variety there.
Like I thought he was fugly as a player, but like wine, you age better.
Yeah, there he is in Brooklyn, right? Not too shabby. All right.
I'll give him a handsome.
All right. Okay, Steve Nash. There you go. Next, the Charlotte Hornets haven't hired a coach.
No.
That's right. There was
they know they're in this competition. We can't deal with this pressure.
I read something. Michael Jordan interviewed Mike D'Antoni.
That would be like the worst thing he could do. I don't think Mike D'Antoni could deal with LeVar Ball's personality whatsoever.
All right. Next is Billy Donovan out in Chicago.
Billy's kind of handsome.
There he is.
Very
stern look to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's looked the same for the most part. He's the hair's gotten a little grayer for sure, but he's for the most part has looked the same.
I think it's because he has that intense look to him.
Yeah.
Even
when he played, like you see it when he played there too. Yeah, but yeah. There you go.
Billy Donovan screams dangerous. He's dangerous, Billy Donovan.
There he is with a smile. Not too bad. All right. Okay. I'll dock him some points for being a former Gators head coach, but
but he's a winner.
Yeah, well,
and it's back to backs.
All right, next is JB Bickerstaff out in Cleveland. All right, so maybe this is what Nate McMillan would look like if he had a beard.
my god.
They kind of look a little similar. A little bit.
Kind of, yeah. I'm not even feeling the beard that much, man. Let me go on my own Google so I can go from there. Like, I don't think he's not attractive looking, but I don't know if he's handsome.
Average dude.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate him just for getting a chance because he made the Rockets relevant there.
Yeah.
I forgot he was the head coach for it. I don't know. His facial reactions. I'm looking at some of the stuff.
Photos. All right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I can't do it. Sorry, JB.
Next, Dwayne Casey out in Detroit.
Dwayne Casey doesn't age, man.
No, he does not. He does not.
Dwayne Casey's handsome.
Yeah? You're going to give it to him? All right.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to him.
Okay.
I'm giving it to him.
Next, so Dwayne Casey. So next we've got, let's see, Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle is not fucking handsome.
Yeah, now that he's gone bald too.
We've been mentioning like Rick Scott Voldemort comparisons a couple times in this tournament, so I feel like it's just apropos. But Rick Carlisle, and also apparently he's a dick, so it goes from there.
Yeah.
I like Rick Carlisle. I think he's a damn good coach. Rick Carlisle is not a handsome coach now.
Yeah, even when he had hair, it wasn't really that great. Okay. Next we've got come on, Spo.
Eric Spoelstra is fucking handsome.
Mm-hmm.
He's everything. You know how we said Dave
Filipino
Roberts?
jeans, that's for sure.
It's the hair, man.
Yeah.
He knows how to wear the suit or the polo. But you know how we joke about Dave Roberts can get you all the cool places? This is the manager in the NBA that can get you all the cool connect. Think on it. He coached LeBron, Wade. He was there when Shaq was around. He knows Pat Riley. He's coached Jimmy.
Yeah.
He even made Hassan Whiteside look cool. And that is saying something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go. Spo.
We support Spo.
Yeah. All right.
With no biasness at all.
All right, next, Mike Budenholzer out in Milwaukee.
Mike Budenholzer gets a point for the beard. if you look, so
when I typed it in on Google, there's a specific entry just for the beard alone.
So I wish sometimes people had access to our chats, because aside from our NSA and feds who are watching it and looking at us like, what the hell? So. You know how we make that running joke of mayo is too spicy for people? Mike Budenholzer, when he didn't have the beard, was the textbook definition of people who I thought mayo was too spicy.
There he is, the photo when he was with the Hawks, and yeah.
He grows a beard. Grow a beard. He dates one Latina, grows a beard. He just goes, Oros Capoyo!
Yeah.
Mike Budenholzer is not handsome to me. He's handsome to somebody, but he's not even going to get in the semifinals of this bracket.
If you like Jim Gaffigan,
he gets. There's one I'm just seeing now with crazy eyes. He gets a point for eliminating the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, doing the thing.
But no.
All right, next. Okay, how about Tibbs?
No, man.
Tom Thibodeau.
Who the hell is Tibbs coaching now?
All right. Do you like Gru from Despicable Me? Because that's who he reminds me of.
Would you believe me if I told you that I forgot Tibbs was still coaching? Because that's how long the love affair with the New York Knicks went. One whole season.
Yeah.
And then it went hardcore. No. So this might not be true at all, but Tom Thibodeau looks like he'll beat me if I say something
And
wrong.
do you blame him for Derrick Rose's career never amounting to anything?
I blame him for just letting Bill Paxton, or whatever his name is, over in Chicago, provide him with any player when it's clear that he needed a specific set of players.
Mm-hmm.
He is your prototypical, I need a superstar, but the window is only a season and a half. He is the Frank Vogel. I believe, like, if you popped him in with that kind of roster, he would have won you that, and only that season.
Yeah, you get a feel-good season. Like when he was out in Minnesota.
He brought Minnesota one playoff round,
exactly.
and then everything with the shit afterwards. I know what Thibodeau's worth, but he's too demanding, man. He doesn't know how to evaluate talent, and I feel like he doesn't know how to communicate what he actually needs for a GM, because it's always play defense.
All right. Next, we got Jamal Mosley out in Orlando.
All right, let me look at Jamal Mosley because I'll tell you right now, I have not watched a single Magic game.
And neither has Andrew. There he is. How old is Jamal Mosley? He's young. He's on.
40 or something.
He's 43. There we go.
Do we have a photo of the poor guy?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Look, yeah, he looks clean in a suit.
Is it wrong to say that he reminds me of Dave Chappelle? Dave Chappelle was an NBA coach. I think it's the teeth a little bit.
Not me.
I'm just seeing certain angles.
Yeah, I don't know. He looks pretty clean in that suit, man.
I mean, he's clean. Sure, I'll give it to him.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Next, we've got Doc Rivers.
Doc's kind of handsome. I'm not gonna shit on Doc on that. He's broken promises. You know.
I don't know. I don't see it.
I don't
see it.
But I might be thinking of like Philadelphia Doc, because you got to remember. Here's the hard part too. These coaches have been around for a very long time. Like Nick McMillan's been around, Rico's been around, so there might be a general progression.
I mean, let's see.
I want to see where he was.
That's
in
what he
Philly
looked like when he
versus
was playing. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. No, I just wanted to look. Just wanted to see.
He put on some pounds. I'll tell you that between the time.
He got old. Yeah, he got old.
Listen, man.
He pulled a Dave Roberts.
Yeah, but listen, man. Like you got to remember, I'm a wrestling fan, so there's dudes in their 50s that are still jack steroids, but you know.
Yeah. You know.
No, now that I'm looking at more photos of Doc looks good in a polo, but when he's in the suit and everything, he looks very sad.
That's because sad things are happening.
Yeah. So we'll pass on Doc.
All right. Next, we've got Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse is fucking goofy. Nick Nurse, I like Nick Nurse. Me and my buddy were talking about how I don't understand Toronto fans or any fans who trash Nick Nurse when I don't want to say you have a bunch of no names on that team.
Nick Nurse looks like Bill Engvall.
Yeah, but he's so goofy. He's so goofy.
That's
Nick
what
Nurse,
I mean.
How do I want to say this delicately? I don't think I can. Nick Nurse looks like what a cartoon creator would make a white character look like an animated TV show. I'm sorry. There's no other way I can say it but that. And I feel like I'm not wrong. There's a picture of him doing a thumbs up in one of my images. So, you see it. It was in the candy stripe.
Yeah.
Go up.
Yeah.
I feel very justified by my comment. He looks like his favorite, artist is Sade from the 80s. Every time his guys score in Bucky, he's like, smooth operator. He's so fucking goofy. I love Nick Nurse too.
Yeah.
But no.
All right. Okay.
Like if Spoelstra ever left, I would be like, steal.
All right. Next, we've got Wes Unseld for the Washington Wizards.
I thought Scotty Brooks was still
Nah.
team because that's how
he's going to Charlotte.
Yeah, he might. How irrelevant that organization is.
Let's see, Wes Unseld. Man, I just have him as a player, not as a coach. Hold on a second. Let me just put Wizards.
Yeah, because I don't think it's because a different Wes Unseld came in. It's like he's dead. I'm like that can't be correct.
There we go. There's Wes.
It's Wes Unseld Jr.
Yeah.
You got me scared, man. Yeah. I'm like, what the guy? I need more than just.
Hey, they're trying to resurrect Kobe all these times, and maybe they finally got one.
I mean, I need more than.
I just have this.
Me or a lot of the first-year coaches have like the same tailor between Nate McMillan's not the first time coach, but it was his first full season because it was interim last year, and then Jamal, whatever his name is. I feel like they all have the same tailor of clothing. I need diversity in my suits.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you got it from Nick Nurse.
I'm not feeling it.
You got it from Nick Nurse.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling Wes.
Okay, so that's it. That's it for the NBA. The only vacancies are in Utah and Charlotte for now, and then that's it. I doubt they will unseat who Charles is going to pick right now.
I think to give a shout out, James Borregio, no. Because we did it for Quinn Snyder, so I'll do it for James Borregio. I'm not going to count Kenny Atkinson stopping by for a cup of coffee. So, East Side, baby, it's got to be Spo.
Yeah.
Spo's my handsome man.
there we go.
And then in the finals, it is Jason Kidd versus Eric Spoelstra, and Jason Kidd wins that.
Another win for the Mavs against the Heat. All
Sorry.
right. Okay, that's fine. So Jason Kidd moves on to the final versus Gabe Kapler and Sean McVay. Next
Hockey is gonna be hysterical. Because this is like, I have nothing. I know like certain dudes.
Like pasty white Canadian guys. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right,
I would have to hear them to see how sexy their accents are.
Hear that a boot. You know,
well, tell it to me.
You've been there. All right, get some Tim Hortons. There you go. All right, so we're at 55 minutes. Oh man, Andrew's still not here, huh? I want to go to non-sponsors, but he still ain't here. How can I kill 5 minutes or 4 minutes now?
Damn it, I kind of want him for baseball on this one though.
Yeah.
Our group chat conversation last night. I'm still not over that.
Oh,
because I went on the deep dive, man.
Oh yeah, no, that was an actual analytical thing that I saw. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, because what matters to me, preview for everybody listening, what matters to me most is Garrett Cole getting his contract.
Yeah.
Living up to that contract, the expectations. Almost had the no, one earned run, didn't leave anybody. It was Holmes that did, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And of the problem,
it's the runners that you're responsible for. I mean, it's always been. I mean,
I get that, but how I'm looking at it is that he only let one guy in, and the guys that he set up was like in second, but Holmes is the one that lit up the double, the score. And I can get if it's on third and it's a single, but there was something amiss, and I'm like, this isn't, because you know what happens is now they've removed the analytics to add quality starts.
Yeah,
I'm going to quality start. And I hate that because there is a sense of oversimplifying. And in my baseball for analytics, I like analytics to have certain things for baseball. I like the whole slashing scale for hitters. I think slugging matters. I think OPS matters because it takes into account certain things. I don't like it in other sports like hockey and basketball.
Speaking, after you finish your thought, I know what we could talk about right now. They're doing the NHL Awards right now.
Oh, so, well, do we want to do that with him, or?
I guess. I mean, I could just rattle them off real quick because I feel like we'll get through to baseball. We haven't talked about baseball in like a couple weeks.
But does he want to talk about hockey? Because his precious life.
2-1 right now. It's 2-1. Like, there's always a possibility, but we'll see.
I think I had something on combat sports as well because there was Better Biv versus Smith, and then there was stuff with UFC. But damn it, I lost the thought process of it because when I can mention it, I mention it. It's just not everything's earth-shattering. And I think the only thing that we talked about last time was, I almost said Arturo Gatti. Wow. Canelo Alvarez going up to the light heavy and then getting demolished. And now he's going to go back there. They're going to go for the Triple G fight. Damn it, but there was something. Because I was watching something, because I'll go on like Twitter for my combat feeds because I'm just like, get to the point. I just want to see the knockouts or the submissions. But damn it, I forgot. And I had put it as a mental, and I was like, oh, talk to the boys about this, but it means nothing to me.
Well, let's see. Well, I think, whatever. You know what? Screw it. We'll just do non-sponsors right now, and then when Andrew comes, he can do his, right?
All right.
And then we'll just go from there, right? So we're here. I think I have some small segments I can rattle off there that I've been saving for quite a bit. So the word from our non-sponsors, people, places, and things and concepts and what have you that we've been enjoying the last week. Charles, do you have anything that you've been enjoying?
So Friday, right? I was hungry Friday.
Yeah.
I don't really remember what I ate, but I know it wasn't a lot. Oh, I remember. So, well, I'll start with this story. Give a little extra context, and maybe Andrew will pop in. So Friday, I had like a learning conference with all the other DB Center attorneys, a smaller segment. So it was like from 10 to 1, really weird timing. And then my coworker, she should just be my non-sponsor sometimes. She brought in like cookies that she had baked, and they were delicious. I had 12 of them. I kid you not. But my entire meal of that day was just 12 cookies and a Jocko Discipline energy drink, which tastes like ass, but did give me energy. Neither of my non-sponsors, the cookies from Bonnie, are worthy of being non-sponsors. But I got home because I left the office at like 3 that day because I have a lot of PTO that's building up that's almost at max. So I'm like taking some short Fridays until I take my big vacation. So I go, I'm at home. I'm continuing my Stranger Things catch up. because we call it the white people show in the chat. I feel like people need context sometimes. Look, season 4 is really good. I'm not even gonna lie. I finally caught up with the Kate Bush scene, and now I know. But I was starving, man. I was so hungry, and it has been a bit. And for when I say a bit, it has been like 2 weeks since I had a little taco in my life. And I love tacos. I'm a taco fiend. And I understand what everybody's saying right now who knows me if they're listening. Oh, no, Charles, you don't like the right kind of tacos. You like those gourmet tacos from Taco Shack. You don't get the real ones tacos with the onion cilantro. I know. I don't discriminate against my tacos. I just like all tacos. I open arms. But I want some Taco Shack, Francisco. So I ordered 3 tacos. They now have chicken empanadas. So I ordered a chicken empanada, and it's so good because it's like a Caribbean jerk chicken empanada. So I'm like, ooh. And I ordered their version of platanos.
Taco Shack and Stewart.
Yes, and I ordered their platanos, which I wish they gave me more.
Get excited! I'm already excited.
You know, but it was just cool. I forgot. I ordered the the cowboy. I ordered the carne. I ordered and the mojo chicken. And the empanada was so good too. And I smashed that. I ate all of it. All of it, Francisco. That's 3 tacos, an empanada, and cut-size, bite-sized platanos with like a soda or iced tea. And man, it was only like $20 too. That's the crazy part. And it was just
looking right now.
Worth it, and it was so good. And I love to go there. I usually get
salad, I got the chicken, they got the ground beef, the pork, the birria.
Oh yeah, they have a Cuban form of it, so they'll have like little diced pork and then the little shoestring fries. They're good for variety. Yes, it is not authentic Mexican tacos. I have a place to go, but this is right by my job, and I typically get it like every couple Thursdays. But I've been on the road a lot lately, splitting between here, Fort Pierce, and Vero Beach. So we don't get that. That's why Fat's Chicken was getting so much love, and so was JoJo's. But we got to remember where we started from. And Taco Shack's always been good. You can get burritos there. You can get quesadillas. You can get the Tres Amigos, the Three Amigos. You know, get a little bit of bite.
Crispy octopus right there with that spicy mayo. Hell yeah!
I haven't tried any of their seafood-based stuff, but I'm not against it. You know. But, you know, when you want something, you go get something. I was craving that because it's been about 3 weeks.
Tartar sauce? I want to know what that tastes like.
Yeah. And they also started adding in some snacks and everything like that, some sweets. I mean, if they got tres leches in there, I'm just set up. But I've always loved me some Taco Shack. It's just so good. We support it. We love it. You know, they have a lot of things. I think they also have street corn now. So it's like I'm so ready to attack it.
Yeah.
Because anybody, it's a cool hangout place for people. I just pick up my food and go. I either bring the food back to the office or I just take home and eat it. But it was needed. I've been thinking about it. I love it so much. I understand it's not a basic taco that everybody's used to, and I don't hate on those basic tacos. But every now and then I need a little creativity in my life. I need a joie de vivre in my my Hispanic foods, as we call it. And, you know, are they based on white owners? Probably. They even had Choritos, I think. That's what trips me up the most. I'm like, what? You're getting to everybody. But whoever cooks it, I love you. You know, whoever owns the establishment, I love you. You have fed me many times. And you know what the weird part is? I keep forgetting to sign up for the rewards thing. And I should, because they even know me because I go in there with my mask and I'm in the suit. Yeah. And they're like, what's else? I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And I just go. But Taco Shack and Stewart, get you some. Right? I understand that they're not the OG original tacos, but I don't care because, you know, some people like one thing, some people like another, but as long as you have tacos in your life, everything's going to be fine, kids. Everything's going to be fine. Promo code, not your basic taco.
Nice. Very good. I like this. I like this a lot, man. There's a few things on here that I'm just like, yes. Okay. All right. So, I guess I have to be next.
We have no choice, right?
I guess I have to be next. So, all right. So I went back to West Palm Beach to visit family. Father's Day weekend, of course. A bunch of stuff and everything like that. Hang out with the kiddos as well, the niece and the nephews. So just doing all of that stuff for a bit. I played some Switch and everything like that. But I actually had a physical activity that I did on Sunday, Charles.
Tell me.
So, very, very out of character, but for me. But hey, man, you gotta do it for the children. Okay. I went to a little place called Defy. I think it's called Miami, whatever. Or not Miami, but Defy Gravity thing. It's one of those trampoline parks.
Oh, like the little bouncy ones?
Yeah.
I know that
Defy
sounds like redundant, but
Yeah.
it's like, all right.
Yeah, there it is. There, I found it. Yeah, Defy Trampoline Parks. They've got a bunch of locations all over the place, but they opened one in West Palm Beach because it's fairly new for the most part, and you go and you bounce around and try to avoid getting a concussion. So I've never
And
been.
everybody, we're old, so
Yeah.
this is more dangerous to us
Yeah.
than.
Well, believe me, I was feeling it later on that day, and especially the morning afterward on Monday.
God.
I was feeling it because my body was doing things it shouldn't have, and yeah, but I enjoyed it. Just keeping an eye on the niece and nephew so they don't get concussions or anything like that. But for the most part, you go in, you have to buy these special socks, and they have like the non-slip socks. You have to buy one of those, so you know, liability issues, all that stuff, right? And for the most part, they kind of just give you like a little wristband. You're in there for 90 minutes. You get 90 minutes, and then the colored wristband. After like a certain time, they'll say, "Hey, everybody who has this colored wristband has to leave." You know.
Yeah.
But you go in and they just kind of let you have at it. There's only a few things in there where you need like an actual employee there, so to make sure you don't kill yourself or anything like that. But I don't know. It just felt different. Just bouncing around the trampoline. You got to kind of get used to it.
Do they have like the little green safety pad stuff? Because there's urban air by where I live that has like a similar thing.
Yeah, I
don't know
mean
what's
they had like a dodgeball thing, which was pretty cool, with really soft balls. Not really, not anything that you would get a concussion from. Not like the not rubber dodgeballs. Of course, they can't do that. They have the battle beams, which is kind of like like an American Gladiator, that type of thing, where you just kind of try to shove yourself into the pit. That was fun. I did that with my nephew. I let him win. I didn't.
You see, you and I are two different people. Because with my nephew, he's 14. I remember like.
Oh no, he's 14. He has to stand up for himself. My nephew's 7. So.
All right, yeah.
Right.
I would have crushed the 7-year-old. But you and I are two different uncles.
They had basketball, but I didn't try that. There was a bunch of people trying to shoot into that stuff, whatever. They had like a little obstacle ninja course, right? American Ninja Warriors course where you jump around and climb and try and make it to the end. Had a few of those. They had two big giant slides to go down as well. They have a big giant open area where a bunch of trampolines, you just jump around and things like that. Parkour stuff, you're running up they call it the wall tramp or all that stuff like that. You're running it up an extreme wall, feeling like Sonic the Hedgehog, right? And they had a zip line, a big swing. You can just kind of jump into the pit. Just fun. It's really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind going back to try it and stuff like that. There were a couple of guys in there doing American Ninja Warrior things, because you could tell that they were training for that.
God.
Which, surrounded by a bunch of preteens and children, looks a little weird. But whatever, they paid for it. They can do what they want, right? Right? So that's fine. But they were there. And aside from that, I don't know. You can get a membership and get a slightly cheaper price if you want to. But I don't know. It's not something I would think that I'd do every day. But yeah,
I would be concerned if people did every day. Like, I'm not trying to judge people's life, but how much is just buy the trampoline?
Yeah. So, yeah, Defy, amusement park or gravity park, whatever you want to call it. Promo code concussion. Because I think I banged my head a little bit too hard on something. Probably shouldn't have gone to sleep, but whatever. I woke up. Okay, so, gosh, man, I was kind of planning for Andrew to be here by this part of the show. Had hockey ready to go, right? NHL Awards are happening. Baseball, a little bit, especially with the recent series between the Yanks and the Rays and the conversation you guys had. But you know what? We can always just kind of default to some of the stuff that we always do. It's like gaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can always default to that. Still haven't completed Death Stranding, Charles. I'm trying. I'm really
I
trying.
mean,
I made a conscious decision last night to go to bed, which like I came home, I sat down, I laid down on the bed, and I turned on the PC, but I just kind of sat there. I'm just like, do I really want to load it up and try this right now? And I decided by that point, I had already, the time had gone by, and I was just like, you know what? It's not happening tonight.
and the thing with that game is it doesn't give you a jolt of energy. I like how therapeutic it is as well.
It is. It is. It
But
is.
it's not like splashy explosion.
Right.
So you realize you're old.
Yeah, part of the splashy explosion part is like I don't mind that it doesn't have that. And look, that was the criticism against the game when it came out, right? People didn't get it. And Kojima was like, well, you know, Americans just don't get it. And I can kind of agree with him on that, right? There was some cultures there. Everybody thought it was going to be Metal Gear. That's what everybody thought it was going to be. But it's not. It definitely is not. But I guess I just have to push the story along. I think that was kind of my thing. I got a little too bogged down on the finding the lost cargo out in the open field, you know,
Yep.
and trying to deliver those and trying to finish off all the deliveries in each of the different points, the distribution points, and trying to connect the Cairo network. I was and trying to create the roads and stuff like that. Like that's what I focused on because I'm like, I want to make the end game a little easier for myself, right? By just constructing the road and just getting everything done. And I probably bogged myself down. But hopefully, maybe by doing all that, once I get going again, because I'm 30 hours in.
Jesus.
I'm 30 hours in. I'm on chapter 5.
Oh, you were nowhere near close, man.
Yeah.
There's 14 chapters.
I know. I looked it up.
God.
I looked it up. I'm 30 hours in, and I think I kind of discouraged myself because I'm like, maybe I could beat this in a month, and it's not looking like that. It's not
Hey,
looking
see,
like that.
that's why I take a different approach because I try to push on through the story and not allow myself to get sucked up to side missions until like 15 hours in. Like, mind you, I did some of the side orders because I want to build the relationships and higher Cairo network.
Right.
But I started Fragile's episode, like episode 3.
Yeah.
So now I got to go to South City and then Mid City or whatever it is to kind of go from there. Like my hype for the game is it's beautiful. It is engaging because it's curious, and people might say it's boring, but really at the heart of it, it's a survival game that's also simulation.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have the capacity to fight certain things. The problem is I think some people, they know it's the engine from Phantom Pain, and they want it to be exactly like Phantom Pain, but that's not the whole point. But it's very much Phantom Pain. I'm so curious to invest into it, but here's the thing: if I keep it to a story component, I think I'll be happy with it because unless I'm getting weaponry and all this stuff, because you don't get money, you don't get all the things there, but it's just interesting. And
yeah, you eventually start getting better equipment to take care of the BTs and even the mules.
Yeah,
the mules
I mean,
themselves.
I gotta tell you though, after the boss in episode 2, I knew I was in to be in.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was very cool. Because
you don't
want to play. Yeah, you don't want to play a game that puts you at a disadvantage the entire time. That's for a long. It's not like the game Outlast or even like Silent Hill, where they're digestible games at like 10, 12 hours, and that's it because you really are weaponless for the majority of the game. But Death Stranding is a very good game. You just have to. It's kind of like, you know how people tell you to give Dark Souls a try, and you're like, but I don't want to die and have to learn placements of killing things, over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing I would say with Death Stranding, because it might not be the immediate hit that you need, but it's very cinematic, and it's a very poetic is the word I'll actually use. I mean, granted, the problem is Kojima is a little pretentious. We're obviously like, you have a weapon
little.
called. Right, I'm being kind because we both support him.
I know.
But we have him with like strands, and then with knots, and then which Sam Porter bridges. So a lot of it's on the nose, but it is good. It's enjoyable. And Andrew jumped on, so this is perfect.
Hey guys.
Hi, what's up, dude? We got.
I have lesson of the day. If you can afford it, get a car that isn't going to break down every couple of months.
Well,
sometimes it's more about where life leads you before you can actually do it. But I feel you.
And speaking of vehicles that break, there actually some relatively breaking news. There was a plane crash at Miami International less than an hour ago.
This is literally how he joins the show. Woe to him! Woe to people on the plane.
Oh boy.
So just kind of the Cliff's notes. It was a plane scheduled to land, I think 5:30. So it may have actually been longer than the news article said, but it was coming in from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. When it landed, the landing gear collapsed.
Oh, okay. All right. Not like. All right. Okay.
So it wasn't like total destruction. It was,
it's kind of like the wheels fell off in a sense, right?
Right. Kind of skid. Some fire, some fuel spill. Only 3 people had to go to the hospital for minor injuries. Otherwise, yeah. But it blocked up the highway where I was driving. I was driving on the 836.
Oh, boy. Damn. Okay. Well, welcome back, Andrew. I'm glad I left work earlier than. All right. Well, we just did a word from non-sponsors. So, do you have a non-sponsor so we can just kind of, have you talk about what you were enjoying over the last week? Or we can loop back around when you get it.
Yeah, I'm still kind of settling in here. So
yeah. Okay. Well, let's. Gosh, where do we go from here? Let's talk about baseball. We haven't talked about baseball in a while, right?
Oh, I want to talk hockey.
You want to talk hockey? You want
to? I told you.
All right. Well, yeah, we already got the basketball talk out of the way, and the NHL awards are happening. Well, it just happened. So, all right, Andrew. So, where do you want to go? NHL awards, Stanley Cup.
Oh, we can start with the NHL awards. I haven't seen who won, so.
Oh, okay. So this will be a interesting endeavor for you. And we went through the handsomest NBA head coaches.
Ooh, which conference?
We finished the Eastern Conference and we crowned a champion.
Right. Who?
So the
Jason, East. Who won? Who won?
Jason Kidd defeated Eric Spoelstra. So the Dallas Mavericks defeated the Heat once again.
And Nick Nurse is fucking goofy.
Yeah. So Andrew's return is sponsored by Orbix. Okay, your favorite cities, airports, and aircraft start flying in a flight sim. So there you go. Oh my god!
Wow.
That's funny.
How is it that you're the worst one out of all 3 of us?
Oh god.
Like, Andrew's obviously the straight man of the comedy, and there's times where you're like, I might be the Michael Scott, you're the Michael Scott, and then all of a sudden you become the Todd Packer.
I didn't mean for that to happen, but it is hilarious.
It's almost as bad as the Chris Rock rant that you went on, which I found hysterical. And no
ooh. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, where were we? What happened? I lost a bit of control there. Yeah.
NHL awards.
NHL awards. Here we go. Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not going to give a plug to Flight Simulator. Oh, do you want to learn how to not crash a plane? Play this game at Microsoft PC.
Okay. So let's see. I just gosh, they still haven't updated. Hold on, let me just go. I'm trying to get to the official NHL site. So Keenan Thompson hosted again, by the way. Keeping on that.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, he was in Mighty Ducks too, so they keep doing that, right? That connection. I'm surprised because NBC, I thought it would be like an ABC person, you know? But anyways, NHL Awards 2022. Give me an actual list here, guys. All right, here we go. All right, so the Calder Trophy
For best rookie.
Best Rookie of the Year goes to Moritz Seider. Okay.
That is one hell of an upset there, if I'm being honest.
So Moritz Seider, he beat out Michael Bunting and Trevor Zegras, who of course a lot of people like from just some of the shows.
Should have been Zegras.
I mean, Zegras was of course the popular pick, I would say, from a I guess perspective of just some of the flashiness. He had some controversy because he's a guy who actually shows emotion. You know what I mean? Because NHL is kind of like baseball in that there's a bunch of old fogies who just want the players to be all serious and whatnot. But NHL needs to have some personality. So it would have been nice with him. But Moritz Seider from the Detroit Red Wings, defenseman. Okay, let's see. What was his stats for this season? Let's see. He played all 82 games, scored 7 goals. Man, a whopping 43 assists. So 50 points total this season, -9, but whatever. He's on Detroit. They're still rebuilding. They're getting there, but they're still not there yet. But I fear for the day when the Red Wings are good again, because the same guy that helped build those Lightning right now is building those Red Wings.
Yeah,
So,
Stevie Y.
Yeah. And so Norris Trophy for the best.
As for best defenseman.
Yes, is Cale Makar.
Not surprising.
Yep. Beat out Victor Hedman and Roman Josi from Nashville.
A lot of people are saying that Cale Makar is the heir apparent to Hedman. I could see that. But there's some people already saying that he's better, and I strongly disagree with that. Because Hedman is still... I think he's been a finalist in 6 straight seasons.
Yeah. And that's
And he has won.
Yeah. And like he's once a defenseman has it on lock, he's on lock.
Right.
I
I mean, he will go down eventually because age is a thing.
yeah.
But it's still Hedman's league.
Well, Makar, well, we'll see, because it might be Makar's league after this series, okay? So, but Makar scored 28 goals, 77 games played, 58 assists, 86 points, a plus 48. And remember, the Avs just scored we're seeing it in this series, the first 2 games out in Colorado, but they score a ton of goals, and he helps them score a ton of goals. He's really good at what he does. He's not just an offensive, he's an actual defenseman. That's the scary thing. So,
Right.
He's up there with Hedman and Josi, 2 really good players. The Lady Byng Trophy. So this Charles, do you know what the Lady Byng Trophy is, Charles?
No.
Well,
This is new, and I've been on the show for what?
Yeah.
4 years?
yeah. Well, Alexander Barkov has won it in the past, and it's a very hockey award. Let's just say. It's for, and this is the actual description of what it's for. It's for the player adjudged to have exhibited the best type of sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct, combined with a high standard of playing ability.
So it's like the
And if I may, I'd like to break that down into English. It basically means the guy that played good and didn't get a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing to do about not being a dick? Because you had me thinking. It was like, oh, hey, you didn't get arrested.
Well, a lot of those guys
You didn't have to settle 20 sexual assault
a lot of
cases.
those guys who are basically some of the least dickiest players in the NHL. So that's the thing.
But also, some of it is luck, because
yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like how everyone on Earth speeds, but they don't get a parking ticket for it.
Mhm.
Everyone, to some extent, is going to commit a penalty at some point, because
Hockey.
by the letter of the law, if you put your stick into the guy's back, it's a cross check. If you hit him into the boards too hard, it's boarding. If you rough somebody up, like face wash, it's roughing.
I still feel like Andrew needs to watch Shoresy, man. Like, that would be his show.
Yeah, just to get some of he'll know the nomenclature of the show for sure. And if you're even wondering extra here, this is kind of my semi-Andrew verse. Lady Byng was the wife of Lord Byng, the 12th Governor General of Canada from 1921 through 26. All right? Just in case you were wondering. Okay, next, the King Clancy Trophy, Charles. It's another very Canadian award. Do you know what this is about?
No, this is like, aside from you guys explained to me in the past, like the President's Trophy and all that stuff, and then the soon-to-be Carvajal Trophy.
Okay, so this is the let's see. So it's officially described as the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice, and who has made a significant humanitarian contribution to his community. Basically, like the
award,
like the Roberto Clemente Award in baseball. There you go. Right? Yeah, or the Walter Payton Award, the same thing.
Yeah.
So I always
except
thought
instead of being named for except instead of being named for a game-changing, world-changing player, it's named for some old white guy who's been dead for like 100 years.
Sounds all right.
It's named in honor of Francis King Clancy, Andrew, who was a former player of the original Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they became a coach, a referee, and a team executive. So there you go. That's who it's named after.
Okay, so that's like the one exception. Well, no, they've got the Rocket Richard Award.
Yeah,
so.
we'll get to them. So, so that's PK Subban. He won the award this time. All right, and he beat out Ryan Getzlaff and Darnell Nurse. Okay. The William M. Jennings trophies was awarded to the tandem of Antti Ranta and Frederick Anderson.
And that is the lowest. I think it's goals allowed, or is it goal against average?
Hold on. Let me actually confirm that, because I don't. I think it's goals allowed, but let me see. It might be GAA.
But it's not award. So Charles, it's not awarded to one person. It's awarded to the top two goaltenders for a particular team.
Yeah. So let's see.
How often are you switching like goaltenders? That's my question.
Depends on the team.
Because that's the thing. Why is another guy just going to be a reserve guy?
It's like what? You would say like a 70-30 or 80-20 split?
Yeah, I'd say. I'd say like, I think Vasi will usually play like 50-something games, so Brian Elliott would get the other 30, or whoever the backup is.
So William N. Jennings was an executive of the NHL, and his trophy, so that's who it's named after. And as far as the trophy is concerned, given to the goaltenders playing a minimum of 25 games for the team with the fewest goals scored against. There you go. So that's what it is. And so the Carolina Hurricanes, basically. It's almost a team award in a sense, but it's the Carolina Hurricanes this season.
Okay.
All right.
And bear in mind, it's just 25 games, so actually, in theory, it could go to multiple goalies if, like, let's say all of them were even, if you have, like, goaltender by committee sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But generally, it's going to be two goaltenders.
All right. The Vezina Trophy. So...
I know that trophy.
There you go. Best goalie in the league. Igor Shesterkin.
Named for one of kind of the first great goaltenders, George Vezina.
Yep. So, Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers won.
Not surprised
Beat out Jacob Markstrom from Calgary and UC Saros from Nashville. So, there you go. Yeah, had himself one hell of a season. Next is the Bill Masterton Trophy.
And this is kind of like the Comeback Player of the Year award.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this, and almost not. It's for the most part that's what it is. Sometimes
I mean, it's technically. I'm giving you like the layman's explanation. Like with the Lady Bing Award, you have all this flowery language, but at the end of the day, it's who is a good player who didn't get a lot of penalties. Here, it's like in the past, forget his name, Brian Boyle was diagnosed with cancer, had to take a few months off to get chemo, and he came back and played decently well. Considering that he was a grinder player, he's not like a superstar, and he got the award. So it's that kind of thing.
It's officially labeled as who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to ice hockey. So,
i.e., you went through something,
yeah,
and you came back.
Jaromir Jagr won it with the Panthers. It was just basically like, you're still playing.
That
right,
one
Joe, just give it to you.
Fucking old.
Yeah, exactly. So this season went to Carey Price.
Makes sense.
Beat out Kevin Hayes and Zdeno Chara.
So to give Charles, so Carey Price, who's the starting goaltender, longtime starting goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens, went through a lot of shit over the past year. He was injured, so that was kind of the start of it. But then he had, I don't know, drug, alcohol abuse problems. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he publicly, which was very brave of him, I have to fully admit, said that he was going into their the NHL player assistance program, which is kind of like league supported rehab, I guess. And then he had a setback with his injury rehab, and he finally came back at the end of the season, played like, I don't know, 3 games maybe.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that he got through all of that and still made it back to play that gave him the award.
So, all right.
Well, good on you, Carey. I'm very proud of you. I'm happy that you were able to get through that.
I remember reading about that.
We might have mentioned it on the show when it did happen. Just basically mentioned, hey, go get your help, man. Go do your thing. Next is the Selk Trophy. So
Selkie.
Yeah, the Selkie Trophy. Yeah, I always say Selk. The Selkie Trophy. It's awarded to the forward who demonstrates the most skill in the defensive component of the game. So these are your best two-way players. A guy, an offensive, a forward that can actually play defense. This season, and lo and behold, Patrice Bergeron has won it again.
My boy Patrice Bergeron of the Boston Bruins. The Brad Marchand.
You're thinking of Marchand.
Oh.
No, yeah, well, he's a teammate of Marchand for a long
time.
Right, but Charles's boy is Brad Marchand.
Well, he's part of the Brad Marchand.
Yeah, exactly. So
I support those who are part of the Brad Marchand.
Yeah. So
okay.
Bergeron, he's had a lock on this award for a long time. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's gonna get his number retired in Boston and all that type of stuff. Elias Lindholm came up as well. He lost out, and so did Alexander Barkov, who hopefully will take over once Bergeron's done with all this.
How many times has Bergeron won?
Ooh, let me see. He's got the most in NHL history. He's got 5 now. So yeah, he's had it on lock for quite a bit. Next is the Jack Adams, which is the Coach of the Year, and it was Daryl Sutter of the Calgary Flames. So he beat out Andrew Brunette of the Panthers and Gerard Gallant of the Rangers.
What does John Cooper have to do? That's your coach, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
He's won in the past, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about a three-peat, or at least getting there, and I understand they probably had their votes not counting the postseason, but it's still kind of impressive. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, I mean, Eric Spoelstra has never won, so yeah.
Yeah, but that's cursed in the NBA.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys who win Coach of the Year and get fired. Having Dwayne Casey, having George Karl.
Yeah.
So let's see. He He has never won the Jack Adams Award.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, the Jack Adams has kind of cursed itself too. So
he's only won twice. He's only been nominated twice, 2013, 2014, and 2018, 2019.
So he might be the Eric Spoelstra of the NHL.
But the let me see.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'm going to say this now. I'm going to say this. John Cooper, please. I'm looking up the stats now. John Cooper, please, or NHL voters, please do not ever give John Cooper the Jack Adams Award.
It's the same thing like the NBA Coach of the Year.
Because in the 2 years that Cooper's been nominated, we've been swept in the first round.
Oh, so that's the secret. So that's what we got to
so
do.
2013, 2014, we were swept. We were the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, or 2 seed in the Atlantic, and we were swept in 4 games by Montreal. And then, of course, the 2018-2019 season, we all know what happened there. When we got swept by Columbus, remember that one?
Yeah. Andrew, just take over for a bit here. I got the next is the Ted Lindsay Award. So just real quick, just 1 second, all right? I got to make a quick phone call.
Okay, no. I have to look this award up. Ted Lindsay is a former player. Oh, yeah, that's right. It used to be called the Lester B. Pearson Award, but it was renamed for Ted Lindsay in 2010.
I'm getting Lester was an old man who had some legacy in the game.
Prime Minister of Canada.
Oh, okay. The Woodrow Wilson Award in baseball goes to...
Exactly. See, I in hindsight, I neglected to mention like the Rocket Richard Trophy, which is for most goals. I neglected to mention a few awards that are named after players, but
that's just so
in hockey, you have a lot of awards that are named after really random old white people.
Or is it such Canadian pride? They're like, we're just going to...
Right. Like the Stanley Cup, and believe me, I would never have the Stanley Cup's name changed ever because it's such an awesome name. But it's named after the guy who bought the damn thing.
I mean, that makes sense.
But, and then actually, fun fact, the championship trophy for the NWHL, which is the National Women's Hockey League, or now called the Premier Hockey League, is called the Isabel Cup, which is named after the daughter of Lord Stanley.
That I remember from our first foray into this game.
And coincidentally, the reigning champion is the Boston Pride. So Boston rules in women's hockey, at least, not so much in men's hockey right now.
No.
All right, I'm back.
So I was just explaining that I totally forgot that the Ted Lindsay Award used to be the Lester B. Pearson Award. And I was explaining to Charles that this is another one of those, that name was one of those old white guys. He was the Prime Minister of Canada. Yeah. That's all he was. Well, although he did win the Nobel Peace Prize in 1957. But it's not like he played professional hockey or anything. He played in college, and that's it.
Yeah.
So again, not denigrating or downplaying any of his accomplishments, but it's not like the Cy Young Award where it's actually named after a player.
Yeah. Well, most outstanding player in the regular... Oh, yeah, this is the NHLPA's basically MVP, in a sense. And yeah, Austin Matthews.
That's player voted by the players.
Yeah, Austin Matthews won out over Roman Josi and Connor McDavid. So there you go.
Interesting.
And then next is the Rocket Richard, but these are basically based on stats at this point, right? So this is whoever scored the most goals, and that was Austin Matthews, scored 60.
And then Rocket obviously was not his first name; it was Maurice.
Yeah,
but he was a stud of a player back in the 50s and the 60s for the Canadiens.
Next is this is one of the fairly newer awards. It's the Messier Leadership Award. So it's named after Marc Messier, who was probably one of the most notable captains in NHL history. And of course, a Hockey Hall of Famer himself.
And
Great
current
player, of
analyst
course.
for ESPN.
That's true. That is true. And it's officially known as an award that recognizes an individual as a superior leader within their sport and as a contributing member of society.
That sounds like a lot like the other.
Yeah, in a sense. Let's see. The award is given to a player selected by the Hockey Hall of Fame center. This is literally Marc Messier awarding people stuff because he's Marc Messier. It's whoever he feels is an individual who leads by positive example through on-ice performance, motivation of team members, and a dedication to community activities and charitable causes. So it's like a second, kind of, Charles. It is kind of like a second award, but just in the eyes of Marc Messier.
Which I'm not 100% sure why he would get the honor of doing it, because like Wayne Gretzky was a captain.
Yeah, but Marc Messier has the connection between the Canadians with the Oilers dynasty and the New York Rangers. So Messier, because I know Gretzky played for the Rangers too, but it was at the end of his career, and like Messier was like the guy who made the guarantee and all that stuff. Like I don't know, maybe that's why. Maybe it's all marketing.
I have absolutely nothing against Marc Messier. Yeah. If you're listening, Mark, we would love to have you on the show.
Yeah, one of the guys that pulls off the bald look for sure.
Follow us on social media, Sports Goofs, FJOJR, Charles the True, Damn Frijoles. Do we have an underscore in Sports Goofs? Or is it all one word?
At sports_goose, because I don't know.
I'm just surprised that he brought it in this time. I was actually going to mention it earlier, but wait on it. That was Charles. You got to say with the follow us on the Twitter
at sports_goose, because Sports Goose is taken by I don't know who the hell, but somebody still has it.
If next time, instead of giving us our cut of the advertising money, we should just use that money to buy Sports Goose.
Yeah, I don't know how much Twitter pays for. Oh, whatever. Anyways,
no, you have to buy it from the guy directly.
Oh, really? Oh, I ain't doing that.
I'll prevent him from getting a knuckle sandwich. That's how much we want
it. Next is the Art Ross Trophy. All right, so that one went to this season Connor McDavid. So this is another stats one. It's the player who gets the most points in the season. That's it.
And that's points and assists, or that's goals and assists combined. Which I'd like to mention something really quick to my basketball-oriented friend here, Charles. Mm-hmm. In basketball, as I've learned, there's only one assist given per point or per score. You just have the primary. But in hockey, you have a primary and a secondary. So...
No, I know that.
Okay.
Because we've talked about how that should be a stat that's utilized in the NBA instead of plus minuses.
All right. And next is the Willie O'Ree Award. This is Willie O'Ree.
Willie O'Ree was the first black hockey player.
There you go. In the NHL. Oh. And this basically goes to, I guess, not players or anything like that. Or it goes to, like, I guess, people who work for the teams, but, like, regular people. Not like the GM or anything like that, but, like, regular people who work for the team. So... Noel Acton, I don't know who he beat out Meredith Lang and Ryan Francis. I don't know who he works for, but he won. So congratulations.
Congratulations to you, sir.
And finally, the Hart Trophy. Basically, the League MVP. And it's Austin Matthews. So he just won. So that's
whom does he play?
Not to be confused with the one voted on by the players.
Yeah. So this is the league, the Professional Hockey Writers Association. That votes for this, and they awarded it to Austin Matthews, beating out Connor McDavid and Igor Shesterkin. So there you go.
For?
Now, can I go quick?
Matthews is Toronto.
Can I do quick Andrew verse?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
I have to pull this up because I downloaded it on my phone because I found it so fascinating.
Raid Shadow Legends. Or maybe it's Orbix. Oh man.
And it's Wonderful Flight Simulator.
Oh my god. I Damn. Ooh. That was a good one.
Okay, so here it is.
Mhm.
I forget who it was, but there was someone doing an article figuring out why the NHL calls it the Stanley Cup Final, singular,
Mhm.
and why the NBA calls it the NBA Finals, plural. Whenever I find out who wrote the article, I'll post it for next show. But I'm going to read the article here. First, we call the NHL, which has called its title series the Final since 1918. Quote, the Stanley Cup Final is the ultimate series that will crown our champion, Frank Brown, the NHL's Group Vice President of Content Integration, said via email. Quote, it is a singular event comprised of a series of individual games. While up to 7 games may be played, each game is an individual piece. Together, the individual games comprise the final, just as multiple slices comprise a pie.
I found the article, by the way. I'm following it right now. It's from the Chicago Tribune from
Of course.
2015, written by Rhiannon Walker. There you go. Rhiannon Walker. There you go.
Thank you, Fleetwood Mac.
I was not going to say it, but the song immediately came in my head. So thank you, Andrew, for
You're welcome.
giving me.
After the show, I'm going to have to listen to that song now because now it's stuck in my head. But continuing the quote, the individual games are part of the final, but each is not a final of itself, which is what each game would have to be for the plural finals to be used in reference to a multiple number of those games. So then we call the NBA, which has a variety of names for its title series, but settled on finals in 1986. The NBA, however, could not find any officials who would explain or justify the pluralization. So that the reason I thought of that, the reason I came across that was someone on Twitter was talking about how they were very disappointed in the NBA for pluralizing it when they heard about how the NHL, their reasoning behind just calling it the final. So NBA, if you're listening, Adam Silver, get on board, my friend. Call it the final. Or not, and just leave the NHL to do it correctly, and you can sit in your wrongness for all I care.
Well,
I don't care
at least they got the NBA Finals logo correct again.
Yes, I will give them credit for that. They went back to the script.
Yeah, because that was always nice and fancy. It always brought some air of sophistication to the occasion. And then for like a couple seasons, especially during the freaking pandemic, they just went with a block script or whatever.
So ugly. Ugly.
Or not even script, a font. It was just so plain and cold, and they still have it for their other stuff, for like the NBA draft and everything like that. But at the very least, the finals, which deserves something much better, has it now. So I'm happy about that. All right.
So that was actually a very brief Andrew verse, but I think I enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, so we're at an hour and 47 minutes, Andrew. I kind of want to we went way over last time, so I do want to get to the cage earlier. But hey, it's 2-1 Stanley Cup Finals. How do you feel right now so far?
Well, I'll keep it brief then, but I would be a lot more worried if it was 3-0.
Yeah.
But 2-1 is a lot better. I'm not taking much from the win yesterday, just like a lot of people shouldn't have taken a lot from the 7-0 win the other night. I mean, I took something from it because considering how close the first game was, and then all of a sudden we get blown out 7-0, I was wondering, maybe we finally, run out of gas, maybe, potentially. But then they showed that fight, and that's what I was looking for. And I was hoping that the Eastern Conference Final would repeat itself, where you had the crowd chanting "Igor's better," up at Madison Square Garden. We took our lumps in the first 2 games, and then we stormed back to win 4 straight. I'm not saying that we're going to repeat that, because that would be damn hard to do it against Colorado. But at least it shows me that there is still some life in the team. I don't know. I don't know how to phrase it without sounding like I was being defeatist, because I wasn't. But the guys were just looking so slow in the 2 games in Denver. Who knows what it was? It could have been the altitude. That's certainly possible, because they're playing literally a mile above sea level, whereas in Tampa you're basically at sea level. But it shows that the guys are still in there, and their old mantra of basically just not giving up, it's still in there. And it shows Colorado and its fans and the NHL that this series ain't over until the final buzzer sounds, when one team has 4 wins. Obviously, my initial prediction is kaput. I mean, we'll have to see, but
We'll be back
this
next week.
this is not going to be. A lot of people are thinking, the Avalanche might sweep them after seeing the first 2 games, but Tampa is still in this baby, and I can't wait to win or lose. This has been an awesome run. Hopefully win, but it just shows they're not giving up, which is fantastic.
All right. Okay, so we are heading on over to the cage. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. Oh, stuff has happened. Here we go.
And by the way, I just want to give myself a pat on the back for condensing it into such a short amount of time.
Indeed. Good job. We're at 151. Charles, you ready?
I'm very jealous of the fact that they can do that, because I was just buying Shredder's Revenge on my Switch as you were doing it. So I'm like, this is like perfect.
So we had the conversation at the beginning of the show, and he finally pulled the trigger. So here we go.
Oh, can I just interrupt really quickly? One more thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The PlayStation Store is selling Goat Simulator 1 for $3.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah, Gold Simulator 3 is going to come out, so that's probably part of all that.
And the funny thing is, it's still the second game in the series. They decided to just troll us and call it Goat Simulator 3, even though it's just the second game. Okay, sorry. Back to you, Charles.
You ready?
All right. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Your weekly Truplex the Cage with Charles. Now, full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a combat sport. It's a physical activity about men and women chasing championships, establishing legacies, trying to beat the holy hell out of each other, and then get a little good luck on their side. It's about opening doors. I swear to Christ, if I hear Forbidden Door one more effing time. It's about some dick swaggering is the word I'm going to use. Today's been a very cursey-filled show for Charles, but it's about certain billionaires thinking that they're invulnerable to any kind of media speculation. No, we're not talking about the former president, Donald Trump. This used to be a segment about me actually talking about wrestling. God, one day we will go back into it, but so many things happen each time, boys, to kind of prevent that from occurring. I just want to go back. I just want to go back to just regular talk, but I guess we'll kind of do bite-sized stuff to a degree, and then we're going to talk about the big stuff, the big stuff, the situations where, the megalomania comes in of 25 years of horror from one particular billionaire. Anywho, Slammiversary was this weekend. Impact. That's right. There's other wrestling things besides WWE and AEW. I'm shocked too, boys. I'm very shocked. Slammiversary, it's Impact's basically their I would say their WrestleMania. They're celebrating 20 years when they were at TNA to Impact and everything else. Going from there, they had a couple matches. I did not watch the highlights of it, but I'll give you kind of like the glossing of it. They even had like former wrestlers there. AJ Styles did a video saying, "Hey, Impact, thanks for having me," which was a good thing from WWE, because even though WWE has not been very kind lately, I'll give him the points there. But Jordan Grace won the Knockouts Championship. The Good Brothers are now Impact Tag Team Champions. The hardest thing about calling it Impact is I know they used to be TNA, and I want to call them TNA, but I know I can't because it pisses off the world. It's not who they are now. But Good Brothers beat the Briscoes to become the Impact Tag Team Champions. You have the Impact Originals defeating Honor No More, so Stables going against Stables. We already mentioned Jordan Grace winning, and then Josh Alexander beat Eric Young for to retain his Impact Championship. So there's that. Let's talk about some other wrestling. I'm kind of proud of myself here. New Japan. That isn't Forbidden Door, because y'all know I'm sick of that ish. Especially since everybody's getting injured. Bryan Danielson might have a concussion. He might not be wrestling. The card for Forbidden Door, which is this weekend, is kind of trash. If he's healthy, then I'll do like a real bigger Impact. Maybe a small podcast on it, small cage session, a bite-sized session, because I don't want to belabor the point on our precious time about a pay-per-view that doesn't even have a full card yet, right? But New Japan has a G1 Climax, which I have talked about in the past with you guys, and that's their big kind of annual thing aside from the Japan Cup, where they have, usually it was Block A and Block B. Ooh, Shredder's Revenge just downloaded. But they would have Block A and Block B, and they would just kind of like have it go from there. Whoever wins gets a title shot at Wrestle Kingdom or has a contract for it. However, they made some changes, boys. Are you ready to hear this craziness, this wildness that coming in? Instead of having 2 blocks, now they're having 4 blocks. And I kind of like it like that. Reason why I like it like that, yeah, baby, is because it kind of deals with the tiebreakers a little bit easier. It keeps contained to each block. It's almost kind of like that most handsomest coach manager in the sports that we're doing on Sports Goose, where you're not just doing one side versus the other. You're gonna have semifinals and everything like that. And they announced some entrants. I'm just gonna give you my predictions right now. I said Kenta's gonna win it all. He's in Block C. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys or I mentioned to my other buddy, but I'll give you my top block guys, and then we'll go from there. So Block A, it's gonna be Kazuka Okada winning that. You know, he just lost the title last week to Jay White. Block B is going to be Jay White winning it, because you can't have your champion, your world heavyweight champion, not even get to the semifinals. We can all agree with that, right? It debases their competitiveness and devalues them. Block C is going to be Kenta. But damn it, now that I see that Tetsuya Naito's on there, I'm like, I kind of want to take it back, but I'm in it to win it, right? Mama did raise no punk ass. And then Block D is going to be my boy, the Last Dragon, Shingo Takagi. I'm saying it. I'm calling it now, June 21 at 9:01 p.m., June 21st, 9:01 p.m., 2022, kids. So that's my little things. I think Kenta will win and go from there. Right? We're doing it. It's done. We'll go from there. AEW, they're prepping for the Forbidden Door. We already know about the interim stuff. Jon Moxley, Hiroshi Tanahashi. I'll kind of leave it at that because Dynamite's this Wednesday. Maybe I'll do it Friday, guys. I'm thinking I could possibly find some time. Let's talk about the big stuff. WWE, Money in the Bank. They're setting up. People are qualifying. That's all you need to know. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. We're getting that SummerSlam part 20,000. I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off it. So Vince McMahon had an affair, and there's like allegations that he also kind of ponied her out to do a Chinese finger trap with John Laurinaitis, who's Johnny Ace, who's head of creative talent. And if you guys don't know what Chinese finger trap is, just go Google it for the slang term and everything like that. And the person he apparently had an affair with was the paralegal of their legal team. So is she necessarily an employee of WB? I don't know. That's debatable. Or she just works in the legal department, because that's usually kind of separate, right? But then came some other things where there might have been NDA signed, and then some digging into allegations of sexual harassment or sexual abuse. I won't say abuse, but it's always one way to another, right? I always feel that an allegation of sexual harassment leads to possible sexual abuse allegations as well. And I remember when the news broke out, what did I send you guys? It's happening, because this man's going to outlive me. I'm saying that right now. If I got another 30 years on this earth, this man has another 35. I'm almost certain. When you have billionaire money, you can avoid a lot, right? Outside of just straight up natural causes. So Vince McMahon doesn't know the definition of the word humble. And I won't go into the full particulars, because this is one of those times where even ESPN is broadcasting situation, so you can actually go to what is apparently the worldwide central sports area and review it, right? But it's not a good look, and I'm going to tell you why it's not a good look. When things came out, the initial reaction was Stephanie McMahon was going to be the interim CEO. Good for her. There's going to be, the board was going to have investigations. There's up to 5 different law firms investigating the claims of sexual misconduct against him and Johnny Laurinaitis. Vince was going to step down as his acting of CEO, not necessarily creative talent. There is a difference, right? He wears many hats. Johnny Laurinaitis is probably going to get fired, as it should be. To give you some insight of who John Laurinaitis is, he's the guy who basically says you're fired on all those firings, right? And you think you would just go quietly, because I don't think anybody in this country that isn't of a certain upper echelon 1%er likes to tolerate the concept of, can I say this, Andrew? Am I allowed to say this? You just got to say yes or no. We'll give you the inside of it yet, but just tell me yes or no. Okay. I don't think, aside from the top 1%, is going to be supportive of any kind of white, old, elderly male billionaire having any kind of dick swaggering with allegations of sexual misconduct, sexual abuse. That's only reserved for certain kind of people. We don't encourage that here at Sports Goose, nor do I think a lot of people do. You think he would go quietly into that good night. That did not happen. This man had the chutzpah to say that he was going to, because all this broke down on Wednesday, boys. This man had the chutzpah, the balls, brass tacks of it, to show up on SmackDown to say that he was going to address possible allegations. And then he showed up on Raw last night as well. And what he basically did when he showed up for SmackDown was pull this whole then, now, forever crap under a minute. And then on Raw was to say that they're going to celebrate John Cena next month or next week when he comes in, because it's been Cena's 20 years of being a wrestler in WWE. And this guy, I sent you the meme of it, is like skipping off like the steel steps coming out of the ring. And this is the look you want to make when you're a publicly traded company that has to have 5 law firms investigating to any sexual misconduct and allegations, and the possible passing off of a sexual exploitation to another person in a position of power when it's supposed to be a family-owned business. Oh, and mind you, and yes, it's a consensual affair, and that's why I told Andrew, I'm like, I don't think anything will really come of it. But if they dig deeper and find out other times where Vince has propositioned employees with sexual favors or anything like that, that's where I actually think turns the rock. But mind you, Linda McMahon ain't no slouch. Linda McMahon was part of the Trump administration's small business administration leads when he was in office. So not a good look. She also failed many times running for political positions in Vermont, I believe, or Connecticut, one of the places. But no bueno if I'm the board of directors. The stocks haven't taken a hit. And you know what's crazy? The ratings went up. The ratings went up on SmackDown. Yeah. They cleared like 2.2 million. Could also be because Roman Reigns was appearing and defending the title because Roman draws. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't have.
No, even the casuals knew about this, Charles.
Yeah.
Right? This is mainstream news that went down. You know.
And look, I YouTubed it. I wasn't gonna watch it. I went and have Taco Shack and watch Stranger Things. But the dick swaggering that this man has is both detestable, and I'm not gonna lie, to a certain degree commendable. If he's acting in his manner, because I'm sure he feels he's done nothing wrong, and I'm sure he's had advisement of counsel of other people that he's done nothing wrong. He's just gonna take a couple political hits here in the entertainment places. But the memes have been hysterical, because you mean to tell me that the guy that populated bra and panty matches and made beautiful Trish Stratus bark like a dog in the ring was having sexual misconduct?
Made people kiss his ass on stage.
Yeah, this is what happens when crazy people get money too.
I like the Green Goblin one. Shit. That's a good one.
Oh my god, that was so good. I was cackling. I
have it on the screen.
Oh. But I'm like, I just want normal wrestling. But if this means, so Johnny Laurinaitis gets fired, that means, or he's on leave, but I think he would be the fall guy. Especially if there was anything. Here's the problem with investigations. It's only as good as far as the investigation takes you. Right, boys? I think you can agree with me with that. on a lot of things, Deshaun Watson. But the issue is now Laurinaitis is out, and you're gonna have Bruce Pritchard taking over creative control. And I'm like, head of talent relation. I'm like, he wasn't good when he did it a couple of years back, and you're having going back to it again. The rumors backstage is, some fans are liking the fact that Stephanie's there, right? That she's there doing certain things, going from there.
I posited it to you. Should we do a You Go Girl? And you're like, hell no.
I don't know if you want to do a You Go Girl for being in a position because your daddy's a pervert.
Nepotism, yeah.
Yeah. Well, who is the next best one? Hunter would be Triple H would be perfect for, like anything in creative talent.
But he got all frustrated, right?
Well, the public board, stuff, Yeah, well, the public board are going to be distrusting the guy who was a carny wrestler, assuming a position of power.
WWE's publicly traded, right? It's a public company,
It
right?
is. Yeah.
So, like,
and that's why it's a bad look, I feel.
Yeah.
For a lot of
because I've been listening. I even listen to stuff about this because this is like mainstream stuff. Like, this is stuff that's like,
but it involves a little bit of curiosities, and it also is very vested interest of my hatred for Vince.
Yes. And I was just listening, like, they have a board of like directors and stuff like that. Like, those guys got to be doing what's best for the company now, right? It's not a family-owned business, like you said. It's no longer that facade anymore. They have a facade of it, but now that thing's gonna break down at some point.
So that's why, for me, it's if I saw this man couldn't even keep his chill because he has to just whip it out in front of everybody. No, maybe he has, in the workplace, but whip it out in front of people saying that he doesn't care. This chicanery, this act that he does to show up on SmackDown and Raw for ratings, basically, to soothe his ego that he is the ultimate draw. I would be, that meme that you see on the videos on Twitter is like, but he's like, hey, yo, what the fuck? That's how I would feel if I'm like the heads of those things. But the stock hasn't really taken a hit, but I don't think anything's gonna come of it. I'm just going to say that right now. If it comes down, it was consensual, and then you're only going to investigate at skin deep. You're not going to go deeper, right? Or the shallow form of it. You're going to keep it very perfunctory. I don't think they're going to want to go more unless someone comes in with certain lawsuits, right? Because that's the only way you engage more into it, because there was NDAs and there's lack of information I'm going to give to give more information on. I need more of that, and trust me, I will be like the Matthew McConaughey with a cigarette looking on the phone thing. If that stuff becomes public, you've
seen the Vince McMahon jump memes? Have you seen those?
Yeah, because that was last night. This is what's crazy. This is what's crazy.
They have a Joker one. I don't know if you saw that one.
I'm seeing it all the time now, but this is what I'm saying is that you would want this not to happen. That's like the equivalent, and I hate to say it, but that's like Robert Kraft after he gets the charges dropped from the massage thing, buying a massage place. Come on, man. We're going back to the same masseuse. We don't care for Robert Kraft. He's detestable. The guy was a human trafficker. He just won't admit it. I'm just saying. They were able to suppress that video, but, certain things. So now we have this, and Vince is not someone I like. I commend the fact that you became a billionaire off a carny business. But you also fired a lot of people I liked, so there was a problem there, and you mishandled a lot of things. Owen Hart's death, Chris Benoit's stuff too. We're gonna go from there. Vince is not a likable person, but a little bit of the swagger that he's doing, there's a small part of me that'd be like, maybe it's a little commendable, because it's literally like a middle finger. Because I'm sure he ran it by somebody outside of WWE Entertainment. There was like, can I just do this shit? And he's probably like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I don't know, Andrew. What are your thoughts on this?
What about
not of the actual lawsuit itself, but Vince reacting the way he has, even though in lieu of, I don't even know if it's a lawsuit, but investigation, in lieu of these allegations, put himself on television, going from.
Yeah. I mean, the guy is a narcissist. I know these people. They, honest to God, think they can do no wrong, and anything they do is fine. So honestly, it is not surprising. I mean, to kind of supplement what you were saying about this guy who, invented bra and panty matches. This is a guy that also, on live TV, in front of what's the name of the guy? The black wrestler who's now like an analyst. Booker T. In front of Booker T, and I'm gonna guess his girlfriend was
Charmel,
a female
who was
black
the ref at
wrestler.
the time.
Goes ahead and says the N-word.
I forgot that. He said that to John Cena too.
He said it to Cena.
Yeah.
With Booker T and whatever her name is.
Charmel.
On live TV. Like, you need to be either a special kind of stupid to do that. I know it's not him, it's his character, but it doesn't matter. So it takes either a special kind of stupid to do that, or it's someone who really just thinks they can do anything and suffer no repercussions. I mean, you remember there was a court case from probably a decade ago where this kid went ahead and used affluenza as a criminal defense for raping a woman, saying like, "Oh, he didn't know any better. It's the fault of being raised rich." It's the same kind of idea with McMahon here. He thinks he can't do anything wrong, and he can buy his way out of anything that is wrong. So that's a long way of me saying, no, I'm absolutely not surprised that he would go out and do that.
Francisco, you just love the memes.
I mean, the guy's an asshole. I mean, it's not whatever his character is not far from who he really is as a human being.
It's really not.
You know, it's like him slightly changing his voice. So that's all it is. I mean,
it's also to.
I'm just here for the memes. I know how big it is in the grand scheme of things, just because of the person that he is and has been for WWE, controlling everything, and of course, now going on 5 years of doing this with you, and knowing how much this man has affected your love of wrestling itself. I mean,
I hate him so much.
Yeah, so I just find it funny, but of course, I mean, is this the beginning of the end finally? Because everybody was just like, is this like truly finally like the light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, like I said, I don't think so. You know, but I like to be pleasantly surprised. But it's also relevant to a tweet I saw the other day, even before they dropped the news.
Charles is gonna be that meme of the guy dressed in the suit, with like just checking on my rivals to see if they're still dead. You know.
Yep, that would be me. Because
like
guys,
he's gonna go to Vince McMahon's funeral just to make sure that man is dead.
Well, guys, why does Vince need to go to heaven? Because he has no chance in hell.
Funny. I like it.
I stole that from like 90s wrestling Twitter, so I'll give credit to there. But that's all I got for you this week on the cage. One day I'll talk about wrestling. I promise. I'll talk about matches and things like that, but instead, real shit happening.
All right. Well, I think that'll be it for us. And that was a good one. Good one, Andrew. Finally, we popped in. We did NHL Awards. I'm glad we did that. And this coming week is the NBA Draft Torture Stream, where I will sit through the entire NBA Draft, even though I do not want to. And I also will be doing the NHL Draft.
For your pleasure.
Yeah. The NFL, I'll do the NHL draft as well, because that'll be coming up the week after, I think, July 7th. And if I find a stream of the MLB draft, I may do that one as well. And me and Andrew might be cooking up something in the future, because we got some stuff working in the background. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So, bye, everybody.
Peace out, everybody.
Take care.
Got the flash shit, checking account, got so many O's, my name at the is Robert Parrish. When it comes to the J's, I got the classics, Jason Kids, then I got the Patricks. Number one, out of all the draft picks, championship, got to have it. Been a starter since day one, I'm with Kanye, I'm with Akon. I run with kings like Tyreek, cause I've been the prince like Tayshaun. But I feel like LeBron everywhere I go, cause every time I score, you know. Them haters looking at me, looking sideways.